Brothers and sisters, our gospel today begins with the story of Jesus again in the boat. All right? Now, when you say again, we have to go back to the gospel of last week. And we have to remember that story because that's where this story of Jesus in the boat all began. Remember last week, everyone, the disciples were crossing the sea. It's terrible. Wind arises, and we hear the disciples are terrified. Now remember, everyone, Peter, Andrew, James, and John were fishermen. They were experienced. They were on water. They had been through storms, and yet we even hear them. They are terrified. So this isn't some mild storm. This is an incredible squall of typhoon, hurricane force. And yet, if you think back to the gospel of last week, Jesus is in the stern, and what is he doing? He sleeps. People, we all have storms in life. And the one thing we learned from the gospel of last week is when we have storms in life, the one thing that we should always do is turn to Jesus, because only he can bring calm. Only he can bring calm. What a gospel we hear this week. Now, people, I want you to realize, you may say, well, why do we really hear two healing stories today? Why not one? The answer is so simple. It's easy. You see, Jairus is wealthy. He's a synagogue official. We hear that he even has people at his house, probably servants. And what does he experience? A squall in his life. On the other extreme, we have a woman, everyone, who has spent everything that she's had, and things haven't got better, they only got worse. So we have someone here who is absolutely, utterly poor. And what does she experience in life? She experiences a squall. So people, I don't care who you are. I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. I don't care, everyone, how little money you have. Realize this. We all face storms in life. We have high times. We have low times. And yet learn from the story of these two. They do two important things today. Number one, they both end up kneeling before Jesus. We hear that of Jairus. Jairus basically comes up to Jesus. Now get this, he's a synagogue official. So if he's a synagogue official, remember there's butting heads here. And there may be other officials who say, don't go near that guy. But what does he do? He falls at the feet of Jesus, he kneels. And what does the woman do once she's been caught, everyone? Well, she's trembling, but she's smart enough. You know what she does? She kneels. She kneels before Jesus. And you know, as long as this gospel is, what's really fascinating today is this. They both only say one thing. One thing. Here it is. Jairus says this, Lord, if you come and lay hands on my daughter who is dying, she will be healed. The woman with the hemorrhage says this, if I but touch his cloak, I will be healed. People, there's only one person that we kneel before. It is Jesus. Keep it simple and learn how to pray these simple words. Lord, bring calm to my life. I'm going to say this over and over again because I want this to be utterly clear when I'm done with this homily today. Know who you are and know who Jesus Christ is. You know, when we think about the story of Jairus and his daughter coming back to life, this gospel could have taken a whole different turn. Those of you who have heard me preach on Lazarus, we have a great opportunity here. After all, realize Jairus' daughter of 12 has died. And so many of you ask me questions about the afterlife. Well, here's a great chance to answer these questions. When we die, who do we see? Who don't we see? What is heaven like? What is God like? What is Jesus like? What is judgment like? And you know something? This little girl could take your questions and could answer them. But like Lazarus, you know how many words we hear from her in the gospel of today? Guess. 0. 0. All we hear is this. Jesus says, give her something to eat. It tells us, everyone, she's not dead and she isn't a ghost. But the story goes on and speaks about Jesus. Know who you are and know who Jesus is. And I want you to remember, everyone, what the Scriptures are about. The Scriptures aren't about your and my story. They are the story of Jesus Christ. Okay, let's go back to the boat now. And let's pretend I invite 3 of you into my boat. Okay, I take you out fishing. Now you got to realize, everybody, that the equipment we have today in fishing is rather extraordinary. We have some of the greatest depth finders we've ever found. We have GPS locations that can pin us on a point. We even have cameras. So people, here in my boat, we can actually see fish. Literally, see them. I can see my lure down there. I can see the fish down there. I can sit there and I can jig and I can say, fish, I want you to bite. But you know something? I'm not that good. I can yell and I can scream and I can sit there and I can finesse a fish and I can say, you bite. And you know something? Sometimes the fish just swims away. Swims away, away it goes. People, I think what astounds me about a camera is so many times I think you think fish are just flying around. No, they just kind of are leisurely. They come in. You can yell at them, you can scream at them, and you can say bite. But you know what they do? They just leisurely swim away. People, I've fished with a lot of different people in my life. I even fished with one professional fisherman 3 times. And I will tell you this. There is only one fisherman that I would take with me every single time. One. You know who it is? It's Jesus. I've never seen a guy, everyone, when the fish aren't biting, who can tell a bunch of disciples to go back out, lower the net, and the net comes back full. Not one, 157. But not only that, I've never seen a man who can go up to a Peter, Andrew, James, and John and say, you follow me, and they do. Jesus is the one. Jesus is. You know something? Learn this in life, everyone. Your life changes. See 3 young women here right in front of me. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know how old you are, but I do know this. At some point in life, you know what? You're going to move away from home. Okay? You're going to meet different people. You're going to see different things. You may end up having 5 or 6 different jobs in life. It's possible. Okay? But you know something? There's one thing that will never change. You know what it is? You're human. You're not God. You're human. And you know something? I think we learn a great lesson today as human beings. That sometimes when those storms in life come our way, what we need to learn how to do, everyone, is to fall on our knees and to hear the words of Jesus. Hey, don't be afraid. Have courage and have faith. I want to close with a little story today that I think brings you about that in life. This is a story about a mother who experienced, everyone, just a tragedy for so many years. And here's the story, but a woman who just continued to have faith. But it's a story about a mother who had a son named Jonathan. And Jonathan, everyone, was mentally slow. And sadly, the wife's husband used to rant and rave about their son. He used to say things like, right in front of his face, things like this: what good is he? What purpose can he bring in life? Why did I get this son? Why? Well, one day he's saying that when all of a sudden, Jonathan comes in, he's bruised, everyone, and he's bleeding. Okay? And the father asks, what in the world happened to this boy? Well, finally his younger brother comes in, whose name is Zach, and he says, Mom and Dad, guess what? Guess what? And he says, this is what happened. See, I was out in the street playing when all of a sudden these bullies came up and they started throwing rocks at me. And Jonathan saw what was happening to me, and he came and he stood right in front of me and he protected me. And little Zach said, Mom and Dad, I'm so glad that I have such a loving brother. And after all of those years in life, the mom could finally turn to her husband and say, you see, he has a purpose in life. His purpose is to love. He can love. People in all things, in all people, even in the storms, God is there. Have faith. Have faith. So let's turn to the divine physician today, everyone, for only he can bring us, everyone, true healing, true peace, and true calm in our lives. Let's pray to him, everyone, and let's remember once again, remember who you are, and remember who Jesus is.